Hey everybody, it's Sean Bewley the Kid. Got my sunglasses on because I just had major eye surgery and you don't want to see this eye. But what I'm going to talk about on this video is something very strange. I almost, when I first heard about it, didn't believe it. But when I started hearing about it, I've heard about it from two of my children who were in the military. And then I heard about it from some others that were in the military, some Army buddies and some neighbors who are in my area. I started thinking maybe there's something more to this. Now, what I'm talking about is on some of these bases in hostile territory, some of our soldiers were seeing shadow figures walking around the room. Some of the soldiers actually described them as just these very dark things, and they're a lot of times very big, very tall, and they almost look human, but they're not. They're just kind of a mass, and they're just moving around. And in fact, it was so disturbing for some of the guys that when it would happen to one of the soldiers and they would say to their sergeant, "Did you see that? Did you see those last night?" And the sergeant's just like, "I don't want to talk about it. I just ignore these things." So there was an understanding that these things are there occasionally, but you don't need to feed into them and you don't need to acknowledge them. And some of them just figured, by ignoring this, I won't give it power, or it'll go away. Now, two of my kids have seen these. And four of my kids served in the military. So two of my four children have described these things as seeing them personally. And in one particular situation, my son was on duty all night because they had to have 24-hour shifts. So he's on duty all night. And at about 2 a.m, this big giant gray mass just comes in the room, expands. It's moving around with intelligence, with intent, but it basically choked out all the light that was on, any light bulbs or anything like that. It just made everything go extremely dim. And then my son, he reported a feeling of he can't move his body. So the whole time this thing was there, he couldn't move a muscle. And, when I asked him about it, he said that was the most disturbing thing that has happened in his entire life. Now, if you can consider people, soldiers going into war zones and things like that, having something like that happen and it being the most disturbing thing that you've ever experienced, that lends a lot of credibility, in my opinion. Now, some of the other soldiers have reported when, and I'm talking about when they're deployed, especially over in the Iraq, Jordan, Kwait area. That's where most of the stuff I was hearing about was happening. Not as much in Afghanistan, but a little. And, I just wanted to put that out there. I thought, I'm going to tell the stories of some of the strange things I hear, especially if I know the people. And this particular thing, I just have been hearing too many people that I know have experienced the exact same thing, and they don't know how to explain it. But, after knowing my kids and knowing my friends and all that, and my guys, this is really convincing that this is really going on. And if you know somebody that served in the Middle East and had this happen, go ahead and drop some comments down below. And if you don't want to say it in public, just send me an email. I'm not going to announce it to everybody, but I'd kind of like to know. And I think some of these people, maybe they would like to not feel as alone about it. Because I think some people, there's probably more soldiers that have seen this stuff and are just not saying anything. So anyway, it's one of those things that I didn't experience when I was in the Army, but they seem to be experiencing this stuff when they're on deployment in the Middle East. And I don't know what it is about that area. I don't know if it's just got such a violent history going back thousands of years, and this stuff is just lurking around. But hey, doesn't sound very pleasant, does it? So anyway, if you guys have any anybody you know that said the same exact thing, just let me know. So catch you later. Bye.
Bewley, the kid.